Hi guys, welcome to another video on Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred, and in this video I'm just going to play a little bit with my wife on one of the non-season heroes that I've played before the season 11, which is also a necromancer. Patch 2.6.1 just released, and with that the classes and the builds are more or less more balanced compared to before. I'm sort of a little bit sick of hearing people saying that necromancer is sort of like pay to win, but you know, I feel that whenever there's a new class or a new build that's being added onto the game, that usually bring kind of like imbalance somehow somewhere, and this game is constantly kind of like a balancing. And you know, if you take a look at Blizzard game in general, there's quite a lot of like balancing going on throughout anyway. So yeah, I mean, I hope you're gonna enjoy the new 2.6.1 and playing some of your favorite heroes or favorite build. Do let me know how it goes. Alright, now so in this video I'm just going to talk a little bit about the two different necromancer build that I'm having right now, which is the Rathma set, the one that you've seen me playing a lot on the season 11, which they're about farming Greater Rift 85 with my wife. Both of us are Rathma in the season 11, but after the season we have spent quite a number of hours. I've spent a couple of hours just to go through the inventory and to see what can be upgraded to my existing heroes in my non-season account. So I went through like the gear and also the you know, all the gems and so on and so forth, just to get a feel of how to improve all my characters within my account, season or non-season. So in the beginning of the video, I hope you got a chance to take a peep on my first ever primal ancient in the game, which is a shield. Now when I first got the shield, I was like spamming my friends and say, what a rubbish thing that I've got. As it turned out, it is not that rubbish in a sense, because that shield has the cold damage plus 15%. It is actually rather nice for the necromancer Inarius that I'm playing right now. So with that, my collection kind of completed in the sense that I'm able to switch my Corp Lance, which is one of the main spender of this build, from the poison that I had before into the cold. Before that, I had a two-hand weapon, which I think the DPS is probably higher in some sense. I do not know. I have to do some more testing. But before that, because that particular two-hand buffed the poison, so I thought, well, since my bone armor is a poison, then why not just switch the Corp Lance using the poison kind of runes. Now that runes is kind of nice for like you know, a lot of mobs around, because it ricochets across the mobs, you know, on the map. But against the boss, which kind of matters sometimes, it doesn't really deal as much damage as I really want to, rather than the cold rune for the Corpse Lance that has a very strong kind of like you know, crit component to it, and it's kind of nice to go for a single target at the boss kind of fight. So with that Primal Ancient Shield, my first ever primal gear that I've seen in this game, I'm able to sort of like try out, do a little bit of testing on my Inarius. Now, if you recall, when Necromancer DLC first came out, which is a couple of months ago, I have started a Bone Storm Necromancer, mainly because I couldn't quite get into the whole Rathma set, which is the pet set, which is also what you see with my wife right now doing the Rathma set. And I've selected I've decided to play a little bit of the you know, Inarius set. Now the main difference between the Inarius versus the Rathma is that Rathma is a pet build. Having said that, the pet build is not the lazy type. I think the Witch Doctor, the pet build is a lot lazier. The pet build of Rathma actually is very engaging in terms of having to manage the amount of essence you have, having to constantly look for ways to regenerate, having to pop the mages at the right time and the right rhythm, and also you know, have to command your skeleton as well. So if you play Rathma, you know, if you saw some of my videos before during the season, recorded during the season 11, you see that you know, a Rathma kind of like a necromancer could have up to 7 skeletons as well as 12 skeleton mages. So there's a lot of pets going on. Inarius, which is the one that I'm having the kind of white color armor, it's not the same as it's the complete opposite of Rathma. So for Inarius, it's very much a melee kind of build. You have to get into the melee range for the Bone Storm. See the skull that whirling across the map. That is the Bone Storm, and you have to get in the melee range for that to really kick into action. A little bit of like so when I first picked the Inarius kind of like a necromancer, I do so because I like my Crusader, the Blasted Shield Crusader, which is also having something going around the character. But that one is pretty active. In the Crusader, you have to kind of like force moving together with spamming of the Blasted Hammer, so it's one way. Another one that I also played something similar is the Witch Doctor, the Fire Bat build, which is also a melee build with a Fire Bat to go around. By the way, 2.6.1 has buffed that, yay! And when that go around, you have the damage reduction, I think healing or whatnot, and also the it's a channel power. Unlike those two kind of like a gameplay, the Necromancer Inarius is more like a passive Bone Storm. I believe so long as you have some bone armor around you, you have the Bone Storm around you as well, which is part of the set item of the Inarius set. So that is very nice. Also unique to Inarius because, as you can see, the Inarius build is rather tanky. Greater Rift 75 is not really high. But situation like this, like the frozen thing that I somehow trigger a bit here and there in the melee range, if I play the Rathma pet, kind of like Necromancer, probably dead by now, but and also with all the lightning that beam across it, but I was able to just eat up almost everything, so I'm rather happy. And my wife, poor cup, because she hadn't been playing the Necromancer for quite some time, and you know how this game, like after some time of break and you come back, you need some rhythm that build upon it. So she's still learning along the way. But back to the Inario, the Necromancer. I have something called the Bone Armor, which is the hotbar second icon. It says 15 there. You start the Rift with 0. But as you do the Bone Armor, which you suck the bones out from the enemies around you, also stun them along the way. Depending on how many enemies are affected, then you have a number of bones armor around you, and that become like a buff to mitigate damage in a sense. So that is really nice. Just one of the many ways of neglect, sort of like getting more kind of damage mitigation and being able as a caster melee, which I find it very interesting. There are a few melee classes in Diablo, right? So you have the Barbarian, which is more or less a strength hero. Crusader, also a strength hero melee. And you have the Dexterity, which is the Monk, that is also melee. But I haven't really seen an intelligence build melee until now. It is more almost like a battle mage kind of thing that I've always been wanted to play. And yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy the Necromancer DLC, which initial cost is $15, but I think right now there's a discount going on for $10. So it is one of those that is money that I spend that I really get a lot of playtime out from it, because $15 I played about close to 200 hours, and I'm like I've done pretty well in one build, which is the pet build. And I'm doing my best to gear up and do something good for the melee build as well, which is the Inarius, the one that you see. Just to give you some idea, gear-wise, my Inarius set is not that fantastic, and you could actually check out some of the, check out my battle.net account to see what I've got. But I've got a number of ancient. I still need quite a number of ancient to augment my, to have my heroes. I have not augmented any of the item using the legendary gem. And usually when you use legendary gem, you add quite a fair bit of intelligence to each of your ancient. Give you a kind of point of reference, my Rathma, Rathma Necromancer has about 5 ancient gear being augmented by legendary gem of 70 odd to 80 odd kind of like ranks. So that adds up quite a substantial amount of intelligence onto the hero that will do even more damage. My Inarius melee kind of like Necromancer haven't got it yet. So it's also one of my targets to be able to do it. And by the way, mortar and all these things usually is rather hard for my Rathma set, which is the pet Necromancer, the glass cannon. But Inarius seems to be doing rather comfortably, just doing what she's doing. All right. Now, the necromancer has a couple of builds that is pretty viable at any game. So the Inarius is one of them, and I think the Inarius has two variety. One is the Bone Storm that we see, which is not really fantastic. It is fun, especially when I have a Rathma, kind of like a necromancer behind me. But it is not a fast clearer from my experience. I think there's another Inarius variety build that you have command skeleton to it that will do even better kind of damage. But I really wanted something different to it. So there's two build options within the Inarius set. From the Rathma point of view, you probably have to go full pet anyway, which is the 7 skeletons and 7 melee skeletons and 12 skeleton mages, which are ranged. If you play Tragor, which I've tried, I think my wife had tried before the season 11, which is very kind of a high risk, high return kind of like you do a lot of blood damage. You spend your health to do damage, but you also can heal along some of the ability as well. So it's really about managing your health rather than anything else. So that is another build that I haven't really got a chance to study or play, but I think in time to come I may go into it, but just that the risk is pretty high. Also if you recall, before my season 11, when I played the Inarius kind of build together with my wife doing the Tragor in the past, we skip a lot of mobs because I mean, if you are not playing the pet build, if you play a necromancer, likely or not you have to jump for quite a fair bit. You have to from one elite pet to another elite pet. The gameplay is really about evolving around the Land of the Dead, which is normally having a very long cooldown. I think it's about 2 minutes cooldown, which is Land of the Dead. Right now it freezes almost everybody unless you have the Juggernaut kind of tag to it, and you can do a lot of pretty fantastic damage because all the corpse related kind of like a power will require no corpse, so you can just spam certain power that you have, pretty powerful stuff. The only downside to it is that you have to keep gearing for lowering the power reduction, the cooldown itself, as well as some of the passive that if you lose enough health, you actually gain some more like a reduction of cooldown and stuff like that. So I can pop Land of the Dead quite often, but I have to make sure I jump from one elite pet to another elite pet, because when you have all this like really big damage, you really want to do it when the time counts. Like right now, I can pop Land of the Dead, and then after that do all my big damage onto the boss. So that's really the gameplay. So when I play with other necromancer, which is not pet build, it's kind of nice. You can jump around from group to group, but it is not very group friendly. So for example, if I play with my friends from like playing a wizard or those characters that are not really into jumping around a fair bit, it becomes quite a hindrance, because both when two people are not playing the same style, it becomes like one field being dragged by the one that want to clear everything, and the one clear everything felt that is being left behind with a lot of like loose mob that they can't handle. So it doesn't really give you the most fun experience from my point of view when I grew with many of you in the past. And also, if I'm not jumping around, if I'm not taking enough damage here and there, then I'm also not reducing my cooldown, and when my cooldown is done, I can't really do it on the on all the mobs that matter. So it also get a little bit uncomfortable when I play character that can move quite fast. Mobility is important as part of the win, because on itself Inarius doesn't really have a lot of damage, unfortunately. It's just on that moment, and you have to manage the cooldown window from time to time, and that's part of the game. Different from the rest. I mean, some like just hack and slash everything else and kill everything, but it's just some builds are different in some sense. Now, good thing about partnering with my wife is that while Inarius on itself, because I play solo as well, I think before season 11 I have solo up to 7-2 creatively for my Inarius, the necromancer you see here. After season 11, with some of the gear upgrade through the season inventory, I'm able to do solo 75 really comfortably. Now the main difference is as such when I'm doing solo versus the partnering with my wife, is that because my wife has really high DPS compared to me, and she can help me generate a lot more corpse. Now, in order to do anything fantastic like deal damage, I need to have corpse around me. The problem with Inarius is that I don't generate enough corpse because my main power is just the weapon damage, and it's not really enough to kill things in a higher rift. So with my wife around, things just keep falling down, and I can use the corpse to do more things. It's just being more fun for me rather than tagging along and not enough corpse and just do like single power to generate whatever it is. So that's one thing that I like. Another thing about partnering with Rathma necromancer is that because they have a lot of like skeleton and mages as well, and that will make it easier to sort of like to be in the front, because some of the mobs are being taunted or distracted by all these like pets around, and also the skeleton, the melee one, with the right rune, they can do a little bit of crowd control as well. So it helped me out a lot. So I can feel that when I'm soloing, things get a little bit harder. Now, of course, that's always the case, but I can really feel the difference with the corpse, with the overall utility of people around. Now, what we intend to do probably is, as a next step, is to pick a different kind of like a debuff or curse, because right now I'm using Decrepify, but as for the patch 2.1, I think our gear requirement do not require us to use Decrepify. So probably we can I can do Decrepify. My wife can do maybe Frailty to help with the mob clearing kind of thing, because we can do two different curses layered together in a sense. So that is really all I have today. Oh, by the way, there will be an event called the Double Trouble. You will see 2 goblin buff from November 6th to November 9th. So I will definitely play, and hope to see some of the pets kind of like goblin that spawn and get more pets to complete my collection. And best of luck for your goblin and all the builds that last time you complained a lot and not effective, and now I hope they are really fun for you to play as well. And I will definitely see you in season 12. I will play a Crusader. As of now, my decision is as such. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.